for ourselves is important. Taking care of our mental health or emotional health or physical health is important. Let's talk about self-care today. Now, one of the biggest challenges I've found is that a lot of people don't think self-care is important. I realize that a lot of women always tend to have to battle and fight with themselves in order to take care of themselves. It's something that I myself have struggled with for years. I did not know how to put myself first and not feel guilty or, you know, had some kind of remorse for saying no for a particular reason, or just in understanding that for my mental health, I needed space and time for just me. This gets especially difficult when you have children and you start to think that these persons who are dependent on you, they need you for every single thing. And as a result, if you have to say no, you need a break, or ask for help for somebody to take care of your children, you are considered a bad mother by society. And that's the thing. Society has really shifted us, and social media has shifted our minds in the way how we deal with self-care now. And mental health is so prevalent. Mental health is something that we talk about. There's real action, there's real thought process that goes behind mental health now, even for men as much as it's for women. And because of that, it is more important for us to take into consideration our mental health. So let's get into it. The very first thing that I think was going to be a challenge for anybody who started to consider their mental health is making time for it. You're going to be thinking about all the pickups and responsibility for work and responsibility to partner and family and everybody else we have responsibility to, and you're gonna say that, when am I gonna find time to take care of myself? Like, my only taking care of right now is to sleep, which is also vitally important. We get into that, but you have to find some time to relax. You can start by dealing with things. You can start by just doing something for 10-20 minutes a day. You can start by taking 10 minutes to read a book. You can start by taking a 10-minute walk. You can relax for 10 minutes, take a deep breath for 10 minutes. It doesn't have to be anything long or drawn out, but I can tell you this. You see, once you get into finding those times and realizing how well it benefits you and how much it's going to impact your life, you'll find other time. You'll find the time to get more time to do more of these kinds of things. So read, take a walk, take a deep breath, breathe. That's usually the first way to consider it. I need this 10 minutes right now to just kind of relax and breathe through whatever that I'm going through in my mind right now. Get enough sleep. 7 to 9 hours is essential. And I know. I am an insomniac. I'm the kind of person who 2 o'clock is my bedtime, and getting up at 5, 6 o'clock is the way that I am. And the reality is that I've tried so many different routines to help me accommodate the lifestyle and my personality. And what I can say to you is that I do thrive better and function better when I go to bed early and wake up early. I woke up 5 o'clock every day for about a month, and I can tell you that extra 2-3 hours in the morning that you wake up is mind-boggling how much things you can get done for yourself during that time. And look at it this way. I had to shift my thinking. It wasn't me waking up early to get more stuff done for other people. It was me waking up early to invest time in myself. And when I started thinking about that, and because I knew that I was really on this journey to be more intentional about my self-care, I realized that for sure, this is exactly what I needed to do. I definitely needed to take this time, go to bed a little earlier, and wake up a little earlier to ensure that I had this time to invest in me. I got up in the morning and I would read more, I would journal more, I would watch something that I want to watch more. I'd actually take the time some mornings, I'm like, well, I'm up, I don't need to get out of the bed. Let me just relax a little longer. Even that in itself was something that was like strange to me. Being able to wake up and have the time to actually sleep longer. Eat a healthy diet. Now, it's not a diet as in you go on keto to lose weight. If that's something that you want to do and it helps with your mental health, then by all means go ahead and do so. But I mean, choose at least one day a week to eat something that you consider to be healthy. I started that way. I started every Tuesday to just have no meat Tuesdays. I will have a vegetable meal. I'm from Jamaica, so I'll have yams, bananas, dumplings on that day with salt fish or salt mackerel or callaloo or cabbage, or just steamed vegetable with just corn or whatever it is. But I started with one day and I realized that I like this idea, and I like how I felt on that day, the day that I was drinking more water, the day that I was eating healthier, and I wanted to do that more often. So I started to shift it up to say, okay, let's make 1 meal per day healthy. So since I was eating 3 times a day at the time, I would decide to make 1 meal per day healthy. When I went on eating a 1 meal a day diet, which was essentially aligned with my lifestyle, I started to ensure that out of the 7 days, I had 4 days that I eat healthy, and the other 3 days I just eat whatever I wanted to eat. Exercising regularly helps too when it comes on to your self-care and your mental health. I struggle with that, honestly. I can't tell you that I get up every day and exercise. I'll be lying to you, child. I don't do it. I don't do it. I can't bother. It's stressing. I'd rather eat healthy and go on a diet and work on my weight where that is concerned. But I do a lot of walking. I don't have a car, which means that I walk from point A to point B. I love being a passenger princess for the last couple of years that I've been one. I used to like driving, and I only really miss driving when I have a pretty hectic day with a lot of stops. But for the most part, I walk around a lot. I usually go walking in the morning sometimes, and then I practice yoga. I'm not a great yogist, but there's some level of exercise, and I'm making excuses for myself because I'm telling you the exercise, and I know I'm talking to me here. I'm not talking to you here. So, you know, let's just skate past that portion of self-care. Let's not. Do something physical. It doesn't have to be anything strenuous. It doesn't have to be a 1 hour walk. It can really be 10 minutes, and I really do sometimes only take 10 minutes to walk out the road and walk come back. My daughters get picked up in the morning, so I take the opportunity to walk them to the bus stop for the driver to come and get them, and then walk home. And that really only takes probably about 10 or 15 minutes in the morning, but that's enough to get your blood moving. And then I have 2 young daughters who are very physical, and they'll come in with dance routine on a Friday night, and whew, child, I'd rather go running. I'd rather go running than to run around with kids. That ain't cool. That's not cute at all. One of the biggest things that I found though with self-care is practicing gratitude. Like, I've seen where my entire life has turned around because I'm always in the space of being grateful. It might sound simple, and this is one of those things that people who practice manifesting can tell you. Like, for them, this is how I feel about it. That is, so for persons who practice manifesting and they talk about manifesting their lifestyle and how they see things happen to them and how it work out, that's how I feel about gratitude. Like, once I got into a space of always being grateful for what I had, my entire life turned around. And it could be that it was just a season and time for it because I was in a space and in a time where things were really bad, and it was either I was going to stay in that dungeon of being sick and tired of being sick and tired, or I was just going to be grateful for the little I had. I had to be grateful for the fact that I was alive and 6 feet above ground in order to get certain things accomplished. My children were healthy for the most part because they weren't very healthy during that time either. There was a lot of things that was going on that time. I was happy and grateful for the fact that I had somewhere to sleep. I might have owed bills, but they weren't kicking my ass out. I had electricity most of the time. I had internet most of the time. I had water all the time. So I had to be grateful for those things. I did have a support system around me too, and I was very grateful for that as well. But ultimately, when I decided that I was going to be more intentional about being grateful, putting myself in a space of gratitude 90% of the day, I realized that over time, my life just continued to get better and better. And this, I realized it was just all mental. It was really all just about the fact that I wasn't dwelling on what wasn't happening. And because I wasn't dwelling on what wasn't happening, my little life was joyous. And it was already joyous. I was so renewed and refreshed by this that I found a new way of living. I became a minimalist. I enjoyed my life more on the fact that I had more things of value in my life that were not things, that were not physical things. I had more intentional activity that I was grateful for than the fact that I didn't have a car or money or that kind of thing. So a space of gratitude, if you don't do anything else for yourself, I would say get a journal, and we're going to get into that, of course. Get a journal and write down everything that you're grateful for you and your family and the entire world, and start from there. By the way, if you hear birds in the background, I live in the bush. So there's a whole tree of blackbirds. One of these days I'm going to do a video of it so you can see how country life is out here, right? Connecting with others is another way to empower your self-care and your mental health. That for me is a little different. Everybody's different. If you're an introvert, and I'm an omnivert, I can do both. I can be out and about, but I really like my own space. I think I'm more leaning towards being an introvert than I am somebody who is, you know, out there and doing everything. But connecting with people does help a lot, because sometimes I can feel that missing element in my life. And I'll call my mom, and I'll call my best friend, or I'll, you know, sit down with the girls and have a talk, or I will, you know, go on a chat with somebody. But connecting with people will really help, because a lot of times when you're going through things and you're all in your head about it, if you take the time to just talk to somebody about what's going on, you'll realize that your feelings of inadequacy or inferiority or lack of is just normal, and they've been through it too, and they can help you through it. So connection with people is really important for your self-care. You don't have to have a lot of friends. You don't have to have 6,000 best friends, or you don't have to have 50,000 people online. But connecting with people who are close to you is important. Even persons who reach out to their online community for advice and thoughts and so forth, and I've done that. It's sometimes even better, because you really don't know who these persons are. You just need ideas. You just need a connection, and that's completely fine too if that's the route that you want to take. And now that we got into talking about your online community, taking a break from the screen is important. I struggle with that, especially if you're a content creator and your lifestyle surrounds watching screens, and your computer or working every day on your laptop, or you watch information on TV or stuff like that. I know it can be difficult, but you can do that by just taking one day. Take a day, your day off. If you don't take days off, take days off. They're important. I don't even call them days off anymore. I call them CEO days. So yes. Or I call them life admin days, where I just take a day for myself and I do life admin stuff. And if you're interested in life admin days that I do, I'm happy to start posting them. I'm going to start posting them here, because I don't think people realize how much life admin days is beneficial for their life. But I digress. Let's get into taking breaks from screen. Now, I do that by just deciding that at about 9 o'clock each night, I'm going to shut down an hour before I go to bed. Or I do it that on a Saturday morning, I don't take up my screen until 11 o'clock in the day, when I've already kind of gotten up, had some coffee, talked to some people, connect with my kids. It doesn't have to be anything big. Like self-care is nothing big enough. You don't have to do a bag of big, a whole lot of things. You just have to do small things, or do things in small portions often enough for you to feel the impact. And if you do it over time, you will feel the impact. Understand? So screen time, I know that's challenging. That's more challenging for me than walking, because my whole life is content creation. Like, I get up in the morning and the first thing I'm gonna be, hey morning, so today's another day, and da-da-da, because I do weekly vlogs. So when do I not get time for my screen? But how I've considered it too, like when I'm creating content, I don't consider that screen time. I consider that work time. When I'm browsing and doing things that is not content related, that is when I consider that screen time. So that's why you can, that's how you can also categorize what screen time for you is if you're a content creator. Make time for hobbies. I guess my hobby is reading, and I do make time for it. Like, I try to read 100 books per year, and I'll be posting those things here as well on my page. I'm reading fine print now, and I'm going to eventually do a book review about 5 fine print. I know I'm late to the game, but I'm also late to YouTube, so leave me alone. Let me do my thing. So my hobby is really and truly reading. I love it. It's an escape for me. An audiobook or a good book from Kindle is awesome. And bear in mind, I am one of those readers who like to feel the book and turn the pages, but as a minimalist, I found that just not practical for my life. I can't have a whole house full of books that I have to dust and clean, and I'm only going to read them one time, because I don't reread books. I'm only going to read them one time, and I'm going to leave them there for clutter. I'm not giving them away. I can't be bothered with it. So I think about 3 years ago, I packed up all the books I had here and I gave them away. and I bought a Kindle. Well, I bought a Kindle long before that. I bought a Kindle and I started to read. I pay for a Kindle subscription, which is about $14.99 per month. Sometimes it's $9.99, sometimes they give it 30-60 days free. I tend to come off for a while, read stuff on Wattpad and all that kind of stuff, and then I go back when Kindle will give me another 3 months. Okay, so that's scamming Kindle, but yeah, because sometimes money not there to do all of that. So I find ways. So yeah, I make time for my hobby because it is also relaxing. I enjoy it. It's a big escape for me. So definitely, for sure, making time for your hobby is important. If you like drawing or writing, I do like drawing too, and I like calligraphy, so I do make time for that. Right next to my bed, I actually have a sketchbook that I draw and sketch and doodle in. I am not a big artist. I can't draw wonderful looking beautiful black women like I see them do on the iPad. I can doodle and I can write cute words and stuff like that, and I can put something together, and I love that, and it's relaxing for me, and I appreciate that. I'm gonna stick to that. That's my thing. So you find a hobby where you like and find some time to do it. I usually say I'm going to read for 10 minutes, and when I look up it's 2 hours. So that's something that you can get into. But if you're not a reader, getting into reading is something you feel a little forced to do. You may not be able to do it as well as avid readers can, but you can start there if that is something that you're interested in. But there's so many other hobbies you can start. Crocheting, you can start by reading, you can collect stamps, you can do other things, a whole lot of things. You can start a makeup course and do makeup for a hobby and put on and take off makeup for your friends and family. That can be fun too. Mindfulness is something that I'm still kind of figuring out. It's just taking the opportunity to kind of meditate on your own and think about what's going on in your life and just putting yourself at peace, reducing your stress. It's something that I'm still working on. I schedule time for that in the evening, and I usually take really and truly about 10 minutes to kind of think through that kind of stuff, process through my day, de-stress, and you know, shed that stress for the day, and then I jump into something else. But practicing mindfulness has helped me to be more focused. It shifts me from work mode to home mode, and it does that. Like, it shifts me from going out from home mode to going out with my friends, or from my friends mode to my family mode. It really does help me to make that switch within my personality, and it's not something that is hard for me to do. The other thing too is to take care of your physical space. Like, I'm big on that. I am not a big cleaner. I don't know how to really incorporate that in my life as something that I find that is joyous. I don't like washing dishes. I don't like cleaning the house. I don't like doing household chores. And it's not that I can't do it, and it's not like I don't want to do it and my house is a mess. It's just, I don't find it efficient for my lifestyle. I'd rather work and do something else that I find more valuable or more, you know, enjoyable in my life, and cleaning is not one of that. So lucky for me, after how many years of going through that struggle and battle, I found somebody who enjoys cleaning, and that's their thing, and they love it. And she comes here and she wants to wash the dishes, and she wants to tidy the room, and she wants to go do you, boo. I'll pay for it. So I have somebody that comes in once a week on a Tuesday, and she spends the entire day here, and she just essentially straighten up things, does the laundry, that kind of thing. So when she leaves, we maintain that. But on the real side, it's not something that I usually do. I don't like doing it, and I used to feel cute about it. I know for my society, it's like, oh, you're rich, you have helper. Lord, because you have money, man, you have helper, and Lord, what kind of girl like you? You're a young girl and you don't want clean. I got through all of that, and I went through those mental challenges, and now I'm at a space where I don't care. I just, what me want. People who enjoy doing it, then they do it, and I have no struggles with that, and big up you. But me is not one of them people there. I don't like cleaning. I do clean because I like a clean space. I like a minimalist look. My environment is always clean. I do clean when it gets to that point, but it's not something that me will say me I go maintain and do all the time. So guys, remember, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is important for your mental health. And when you practice self-care and you're able to take care of yourself, you're able to extend yourself to others. One of the biggest things with getting into a space of self-care for yourself is to understand this is for you and nobody else. You can't be focused on what people think about you taking care of yourself or you saying no. It is not you being selfish. It's you protecting yourself from downfall. It's you protecting yourself from a point in your life that you're going to have to seek external medical assistance to help you through a particular process. So be mindful of your self-care and ensure that you take it seriously. I see you on the next video.